Hello and welcome to today's discussion on blissful awareness. It's a good opportunity for all of us to connect and talk about spiritual matters and the practices which we are doing. So, in case anyone has some suggestion or topic, you are most welcome to share it by writing or unmute yourself, preferably unmute yourself and talk about it because this gives an opportunity to be with oneself to clear out some minor things if they are not yet clear. Although the path of knowledge is very simple and there's hardly any practice in it, still our old habits many a times comes back and it appears as if we are getting derailed from the knowledge. So the satsang or these spiritual meetings will always be a help to overcome that moments. So we start with something which Rajiv has asked. So in between, anyone if he wants to share their thoughts or talk about anything, I'm most welcome. So Rajiv has said that there is a this logic that it's all in mind and it's about mind to be at complete rest. However, so many Adwait philosophers differentiate between mind at complete rest state and that of unknowability, referred to as non-duality or Adwait. Maybe we can discuss between these two points of view in each other's context. So, what Rajiv you are saying is that there are two, two things. One is that state of mind which is at rest. However, there are certain philosophers or thinkers or spiritual teachers who say no, this state of mind or state of rest is like slightly different from the unknowability, which is also called non-duality. So there are a few things in it. One, that whatever the mind does, whether it is active or inactive or at rest, whether it is engaged in certain imagination thoughts, so they it's if those thoughts, those activities are missing from the mind itself will have no existence per se. So therefore it it merges back into the source from where it has originated. But even when these activities are there, the mind itself is an illusion. So it doesn't matter whether it is having good thoughts, bad thoughts, or whatever is going through it, if we can just be detached from it, not that we have to get actions. I mean, thought comes and you start acting on it. So, therefore, immediately another thought will come that I am doing this or I don't have to do this. So, this will keep on agitating the mind further that I have done this right, I have not done this right. So, it appears as if we are away from the source. It appears as if I'm not at rest, at peace. So, mind, whether it is restful or not restful, in either case, you are ever detached from it. You are never the mind. If that is understood, then the words be very, will not be able to disturb you at all. They will be just like floating clouds on the sky. The background is sky and the clouds does not make any impact on the sky, or whatever objects are there in the space does not actually impact the space. There, with whatever color is there, it doesn't make color the sky or the space like the color of whatever the object is. Similarly, the way to understand mind is to work through the mind. And therefore, all these spiritual teachers, they say that if you are totally engaged in the mind's activity, thinking or taking them to be your own agitation or peace, then it is very difficult for you to understand or go to the level of non-duality. So first step is definitely to try to find out where is the source, from where this mind is originating, from where, what is the point from where thoughts are originating. Let us see mind. Let us dissect the mind also. So we find mind is a collection of thoughts, memories, and emotions, sensations, and whatever images which are appearing, that we call as mind. So if this mind is further dissected, that where from these thoughts are coming, let us say one by one, what is the source of the thought? So you will reach yourself. That is the point where non-duality is. That is the point when once you have seen that space of non-duality, when we say you have seen, means when once you have known that something which is so real is existing, which is the existence itself, which is you yourself, then even when thoughts are there, they will not disturb you. You will have a detachment from it. There will be a space which will be between you and the thoughts, as if the space between the screen and the images or the lights of images and darkness, light and darkness, which form the image on the screen. There is a space between them. The screen is not affected by whatever is happening on it. Same way, you are not affected by whatever is happening in the mind. But the most important thing is that mind is to be tackled with mind to start with. And at the end, it itself settles down. Then the background is non-duality. So when teachers or spiritual masters they talk about non-duality, they just say that you have to go within yourself to know where from you are originating. What is awareness? Let us say I am experiencer of all these experiences. So if you try to become aware of the experiencer, then experiences will start losing their grip. And after a while, as Guruji has explained it so beautifully, that in oneness, you don't have to move away from experiences, neither you have to cling to experiencer. So that balance will come. So there are three things. One is the balance, the second is the naturalness, the ease of whatever is happening on your background, on your foundation on which the building is there. And third is acceptance of whatever is happening as it is. So that makes you natural. You don't cling to anything, whether it is good or bad, whether it is right or wrong, whether it is desirable or undesirable, whether it is pleasure or pain. Because in reality, in truth, you are ever detached from whatever activities are happening in the mind. So mind cannot work without this polarity or this relativity being there. And if this relativity is to be understood as oneness and as different shades of black and white, we call it gray. So everything is gray actually, but some places it is more white, some places it is less white, or some places it is more black, some places it is less black. But in effect, it is all one. Nothing is absolute white, nothing is absolute black. So the relativity is always there, and that makes the mind appear as real. Unless this relativity is there, mind will be not existing. Otherwise, also mind is very fickle. It keeps on changing. You can't get the mind to stick to one place for a longer time. So the option is that let it be what it is doing. I'm not interested in it. And this thought, this feeling, this detachment itself is sufficient to see the real nature of the mind. Once the real nature of the mind is known by the mind itself, then the mind becomes restful. And that restfulness will make you a glimpse of who you are as non duality. Because in non duality, there is nothing to say. There is no mind, that means there is no experience, and there is no experiencer. So, who will say what? And what is there to be seen or not to be seen? To catch hold of or not to catch hold of? To run away or to cling on for something? So, I mean, that's what I can understand and talk about it. Maybe if anybody wants to further elaborate on it, or Rajiv, I don't know whether I've addressed your point or question, because it is a matter of words, how some teacher explains it and how other teacher explains it. So it is always advisable not to get caught up in the words, because words can be very distracting many a times. But once you know that the words are required to move away from the words to go to the source of the word, or to see where these words are pointing to, then it will become easy to see the meaning which is hidden behind the words. Because any word, the meaning is assigned by you. If you are not there, word does not contain any meaning. If you are not there, the relation between the word and the object and its meaning and the knowledge will not be there. So it has never happened that you were never there. You were ever there. So in Hindi or in Sanskrit, it is called Anvay Vritti Rekh, means that whenever something is there, the other thing is also there. It is called Anvay. But when one thing is there and other is not there, that means the other thing is relative. It is having a dependent existence. It is called Vritti Rekh. In simple terms, if you are always there, whenever there is an experience of, let us say, a thought, if you are not there and thought is still there, then we say thought has got an independent existence. But sometimes you are there and thought is not there, or thoughts are less, or let us say you are having an experience of eating food. So whenever you are there first, then the experience of eating food is there. Now that experience is shifted to, let us say, watching a movie. So the experiencing of eating the food has gone, and a new experience has come of watching a movie. So now you're not eating, you're not having those sensation of eating the food, but you are still there. So this is the key, that you are the independent existence on which these whimsical scenarios or the scenes or the play is getting unfolded. And it never happened that you are not there and the experience is happening. Although, if you go into further depth of non duality, you will find that all experiences are one, because there's nothing which is left after the experience is over. So it is very obvious that there is nothing which is there even when the experience is happening. So the experience itself is emptiness, the void or nothingness, or we say it is unknowable. Because let us say don't say that there's nothing there, but we say it is emptiness. Emptiness means that we don't know what is there. Something is there, but we don't know what is there. So we have given a name to it, and that name is emptiness or unknowability. Because for knowing, there needs to be three things: one, that the knower is there; second, which is known; and third, there is a relationship between the two. If they are unrelated, if they can't come in contact with each other, then there is nothing between them which can make any knowledge. So we say knower, known, and knowledge. So these three things needs to be always there for making any sensible reference to any word or any concept. But the one which is having or knowing these concepts is ever beyond these concepts. So this triputi, the trinity of knower, known, and knowledge, is actually one. This is non-duality. There are no two, there are no three. So first we say there are three, which is knower, known, and knowledge. Then we say there are two, knower and known. And then we come to the acknowledgement that there is not even two, there is oneness. And if you go deep into experience, you will find all experiences are one. If you talk about experiencer, it is again one. So the whole existence is where you are. The whole existence is sprouting forth like a seed sprouts forth. The whole existence is sprouting from you like bubbles form on the water surface. So bubble is nothing but water. Same way, a very good example is given that the ice is nothing but water. Ice is a form, a shape, whereas water is formless, shapeless. But they are same. Similarly, we say this whole creation is having a shape. And the one which is knowing this creation as creation is not having any shape or form. It is formless. But it is the same. In the sense, the essence is same of both the form and the formless. So when we see form in the formless, and when we see formlessness in the form, then it is non-duality. Then it is abidance in the self. Then words are immaterial, whether somebody calls it non-duality, whether somebody calls it resting of the mind, whether somebody calls it a state of Adwait or emptiness. Now, these words are absolutely unimportant, absolutely not required, because they also will create a separation from the one who is knowing these words and the one which is known. That means these words. So, in reality, therefore, they did not say it oneness, they just said it is non dual. They are not two. So, I hope I answered this question. If anybody has still some doubt or they want to share their experience, no, it is not like this. How can we say two experiences are one? How can we say experience and experiencer is one? Then please go ahead, because this is the crux of the whole teaching, that the experience and the experiencer are not two. If this is not clear, then everything else will be in concept. Everything else will become just theory, because it is beyond theory. It is beyond a concept. It is beyond which you have heard from someone. It is has to be your own experience. It has to be without any doubt that this is what it is. If there is a doubt that no, this seems to be fine as a concept, but it is not the reality, because I have to keep this body, I have to maintain the relations in this, I have to earn something. But again, nobody is saying not to do all these things, not to maintain a good health, not to earn. But that doesn't change the truth. That doesn't change the reality. Like in a dream, you always, so many activities are going on. But that doesn't make it real. That doesn't make it that it is different from what you are. So the dream is made up of whatever you are. And it was never separated even when it was appearing to be separate. Same logic, same analogy, same metaphor is there in the waking state. That even when there is a difference which is appearing as many, in reality, that difference is fictitious. It is not true. It is not at all there. So that is not understood. If you tell somebody that this word is not existing, they will laugh because it is not a fact. The word is the existence, and you are the existence. So the word cannot exist without you being there. This is the crux. That had you not been there and word was existing, if this was the right direct experience of anyone, then the whole concept, not concept, the whole non-duality falls flat. But this is not happening. This has never happened. That you were not there and the word is there. So when we say you, that doesn't mean mind or body. Even the mind never ceases to be there. The mind is ever there. Otherwise, there is no one who can even think or speak or express or understand or memorize or explain or know or not know. Nobody will be there to even say it is unknowable. So, in non duality, it is not even possible to express it in words. However, it is ever expressed in everything which is happening around you because you are the source. You are the one on which the whole existence is hinging. Is many people will say, okay, you have become egoist. You think only you exist. Okay, let anybody thinks whatever he thinks, but it is immaterial what others thinks because that what they think is also not very different from what is happening in your mind. And whatever is happening in your mind, there is a knower of that. There is an experiencer of that. Even the knower is itself is an experience. So therefore, you go deep one level by one level by one level. Like when we peel the onion, in the end, nothing is left. If you try to find out where is the tree in the seed, you can keep on grinding the seed. You will not find the tree there. But you can't say that tree is not existing while the seed is there. So tree was ever existing. Otherwise, how can a seed sprout into a tree? So therefore, it is very complex that we say that everything has already happened. But everything seems to be unfolding as well. So that makes it the play, Leela. Rajiv has said, yes, this is true. However, mind is still engaged in so called thinking, contemplating. And while many views gets answered, some stick around and mind likes this. In a way, it is better than pondering over many earlier worldly matters. Yeah, I think you are here right, Rajiv, that there are two options. One, that you think this word is real and you engage or behave as if this word is real. This is one way of living in this word. And the second is you know that this is unreal, and you may behave as if it is unreal, or you may behave as if it is real. It is a choice. It is not that you know it is unreal and you have always to behave it as a real. Many times, when transaction is not required with the objects, the other persons, you can very well soak in the glory of this being unreal. So effectively, there are three ways. One, that you think it is real and you behave it is real. Second is you know it is unreal and still you sometimes behave as if it is real. And third, that you know it is unreal and you are just in that glory of it being unreal. So I mean, you can frame whatever words the mind wants to get settled into, but most importantly, that the mind cannot exist without you. If that is understood, other things will fall in place. Or the body cannot exist without you, has never existed without you. Because in a dream, this body is not there. In dreamless state, even the dream body is not there. But you are still there. So the dream body has a dependent existence. It is not independent of you being there. So if the dream body could have existed without you being there, then you were unreal. But that is not the case, because you were always there. Even in the dreamless state, you are there. Even in the dreams, you are there. And even when there are no dreams, you are still there. So when the waking state also becomes like a dream, and the dream becomes like a sort of a waking state, then it is called the fourth state, the turiya, when the awareness is there in all the three states. Because there is this all differences of states are imaginary, fictitious. There is no such difference. Only there are certain scenes, certain images which are coming and going, and they are coming and going in an arbitrary manner. There is no connection in between them. With a limited mind, with limited senses, with limited knowledge, a connection is made, and we call it as I know it. We think I know it, and we are so glad that, oh, I have cracked the secret. But again, all that will be very childish, because whatever you know will be very limited, and whatever you know, it will always be in duality. There won't be the fact that the knower and the known is one, unless that knower and the known, seer and the seen, is seen as one, as known as one. Even if they appear as two, till that time the abidance has not really happened in self, in your own glory. Till that time it has been a theory. Till that time it is just a concept. So I hope everybody agrees with me here, or if somebody is not in agreement, please feel free to share your thoughts or experience. Rajiv has said one message. The point of view is from within mind, about first, in mind itself, and then its source. Or is it, I mean, I'm talking about your first sentence only, or is it the other way around? The source is there and mind is coming and going. I mean, mind coming, going means the colors or the shades of the minds are changing. You have further written that what happens that the source, as it's unknowable, never gets known. But what gets known is futility of mind, futility of experiences, so called anitya nature. And this brings some mind to a state of rest. which comes from acceptance of its own futility. So when it's at rest, it can be also referred as being in complete awareness, which is action, less action. And here the usefulness of word transcendence can be understood that when self imposed limits, illusion disappear, mind realizes that it itself is unknown. There were never two. Yeah, it's perfectly okay to write in whatever way you find is okay. That's okay. I mean, unless you have understood it, you don't have to explain it in so many words. And if you have not understood it, many words will not help you. Same is the case with the one who is listening these words or reading these words. They will not make any sense to him unless he has himself or herself understood it through his or her direct experience and logic. And ultimately, the logic also fades away into the direct experience. And there is no direct experience as such, because for every experience, there has to be something in between, which is a sense, which is we call as indriya. Now, what is a direct experience is when there is nothing in between the experience and the experiencer. And when we talk about senses, they also are an experience. When we talk about mind, it is again an experience. When we talk about objects, they are also an experience. So there is nothing in between experience and experiencer. Therefore, it is said that experience and experiencer are one. They are not two. We always think or believe that experiencer is more real. But in absolute terms, in reality, in non duality, experience and experiencer, they don't have any differentiation between them. And they are one also, and they appear as many. So experiencer itself is experience, and experience itself is experiencer. Seer is the seen, and seen is the seer. They are not two, they are not different. So this is again cannot be explained or put into words. We always fail short to express what is non duality. There perhaps has never been anyone who ever knew what is non duality, because for him to know non duality, there has to be a duality. So it is not possible even to know it, because you are that, because it is so obvious that you are that. How can you know yourself as yourself without creating a separateness from yourself, which is not possible? So whatever is happening is actually an illusion. It is not that by purifying yourself you will become the experiencer. No, no, no. It is not never like this. That you have done something wrong, and once after you repay those bad things, then you will become good, and then you will become the experiencer or the existence or the knower. It is never like that. That's my view. Anyway, I think it is going on a monologue. So if anybody wants to pitch in, you're most welcome. Rajiv has said actually there is no need to call it anything real, unreal, true, false. That's it. And that is actually what it is. That if you don't label it, you are at peace. Once you start labeling it, then the mind will keep on bothering. And the unfortunate, not unfortunate, the practical thing is that you have to label it to survive in this world. Therefore, you label it, because otherwise, how can you differentiate between poison and nectar? How can you survive? The survival will become impossible. Therefore, Labeling is important, but unnecessary labeling is not important. Like if somebody behaves irrationally with you and you start imagining about that person, I will teach him a lesson and this and that, and you don't forget that event for many months or sometimes many years that this fellow has insulted me. No, that is unnecessary. No, that labeling is unnecessary. What is happening is mind is circulating or revolving or moving around in circles without actually going anywhere. Like example is always given, the bull which revolves around a place to take water from the well. Earlier time they used to have this. So bull will have an illusion that it has traveled a lot, but actually it is just revolving at one place. Same way the mind also does the same trick. If you unnecessarily give importance to the activities, to the events, to the people, to the word, to the survival of the mind, it will keep running like horse and it will be very difficult to get hold of it. So the easiest way is to see that it is not me. Any desire is not mine. The word is just happening out on its own, and the word is not different from me, the non dual part or the non dual. See, there are no words now. If you say non dual, then what can you speak about it? So, therefore, the highest transmission of knowledge is silence because that is the closest to the non duality. Therefore, lot of emphasis is given in path of yoga to silence the mind because that is the closest to you being in the non-duality. Therefore, it has got its own importance. So that silencing of mind can happen by numerous ways or innumerable ways, depending on each seeker where he is, what is his preference, what is his level of understanding, and ultimately it will boils down to both knowledge and love. Why we call love? Because it is a spontaneous thing which comes out. Why we call peace? It is a spontaneous thing which comes out. Why we call bliss? Because that is what you are. Why we call existence? Because that is what it is. So love, peace, existence are not different, and knowledge knowledge doesn't mean that you know something as or you don't know something. Knowledge means the ability to know. The word knowledge here means the ability to know. So, ability to know is not different from ability to love, and it is not different from the existence itself, or the peace itself, or the bliss itself. So, these 4 5 words in nutshell describe who you are, although they also will not be very close to explain who you are or what you are, because that is unknowable or emptiness. But still, if you come one level down and try to put it into words, so these 4 5 words will sum it up. You are peace, you are love, you are the knowledge itself, and you are the existence, which is at the same time unknowable, at the same time emptiness, at the same time a potential, at the same time the mind itself. So don't run away from the mind. Use the mind as a tool to go to its source, which is very important. If we use the mind as a tool, just like the fire as a tool, not as a master. but as a servant. Then it becomes your obedient or a very good tool. Like the example is always given by Guruji about the knife is not bad. It is how you hold the knife. If you hold the knife the wrong way, it will cut your hand rather than cutting the fruit. Whereas if you hold the knife the right way, it is a good tool, isn't it? Same way the mind is like that. If the mind is used the way it is to be used, that is to know where from it has originated, then it is a good tool. What's wrong with it? See, this tool is not available with all the creatures in this world. Like animals, perhaps they don't have this ability to question their instincts, to question their origin of the mind. To that intellect is not well developed. But the problem with the man is that they get caught up in the intellect. They think by knowing more you will know your own self. It is not like that. The key is that who is knowing, who is having this desire to know himself, is the one who you are, right? Because if you are not there, this desire cannot arise about who you are. So you are the source of this question also, who you are or what you are. And the answer itself is you yourself. The answer is not in words. The answer is not even in the meanings of the words. The answer is not there to be read from some scriptures. The answer is in the grace of you being there. The answer is in the grace of knowing that you are there, and which is available to all the people. Had it been available to one and not to other, then we could have said that this is duality. But this realization that I exist is available to all the time, and therefore it is not two. Therefore, this I which emerges after the small I goes away is universal I. That I is the real I, which is not mind. That I is the real I, which is also the mind. So that I is beyond the words, and that I is the words. Now, here, all language will just be crazy. I mean, any sane person will think the person who is speaking is crazy. But that's okay. I mean, that's perfectly fine. As long as you know it keeps your mind at rest. As long as you know that this is who, this is what I have come to as conclusion, not because my guru has told me, but because this is undisputable, irrefutable. It cannot be broken into any by any logic. If you don't have the knowledge, no, what happens is that you have a fear. This has happened to me that eh, you read something and some other concept will become true to you. A fear is there. Oh, I should not leave my guru and read somebody else's words, because then I may I may be attracted toward the other person and leave my guru. That never happens. I mean, till this fear is there, the love cannot blossom. Till the time fear is there, you have never known who you are. So the fear is the last emotion to go. The fear is the last thing which keeps you attracted, or which pulls you in this world again. You know why? We think that desires pull us, but fear also is the same. Fear is, I don't want to have this experience again. Again, What do you mean I don't want to have this experience again? That means you have not understood who you are. That means you are still thinking the word is different from you. That means the words were just an concept for you. So in the end, in the nutshell, it is immaterial whether you are in the word or you are not in the word, because you were never in the word, and you will never be in the word, because the word is inseparable from you, because the word is inseparable from this body. The word is inseparable from the mind. When we say word, it means any word, be it the physical word, so called physical word, or the mental word, or the projected state, or the dreamless state. Because other than these three, four things, what else is there? And other than these four things, whatever is there is you, which never vanished, which never changed, which never ever happened anything else but you. So I hope, I don't know whether I made some sense, but in a again, to sum up to what Rajiv has asked, not asked, in fact, he perhaps said this to initiate some dialogue. The point is this should not be a concept, whatever we are talking. It should be a living reality, as real as you think the word is. If this becomes so real to you that I am the most real thing which exists, you will find that this I which exists is singular. It is not plural. This I is not two. This I is one. This I is the experiencer. This I is the witness. This I is the ultimate one, which is not different from any experience, which is not separate from the experience, can never be separated from the experience. Had it been separate, there could not have been any connection between the two. Had they been at different levels, experiencer can never know what is the experience. So therefore they are one. A gross thing cannot enter a subtle thing, right? You can't, a gross thing like a elephant and a subtle thing like a water. I don't know, this is a wrong example. Maybe a gross thing cannot enter a subtle thing, or a small thing, not subtle. Like an elephant cannot enter through the needle, the head of the needle, what do you say, the space in the needle where the thread is put. Now, this is very obvious that it cannot happen, but that means the thing which is entering into other has to be subtler or at the same level. Even at the same level doesn't make sense. So, therefore, the experience has to be as subtle as the experiencer for the experience to happen. And that's why experience and experiencer are not two. So, if anybody has something to add or say anything on it, or if something is not clear, because I don't know, I'm speaking and just speaking. If anybody wants to talk, wants to share their thoughts about it, that whether it makes sense, whatever is being spoken of, or it is not true. Because if there is even an iota of doubt, that will multiply. So, the purpose of the meeting or spiritual meetings are to understand from each other's experience, to know that you are the bliss, to know that You are the one which is existing, which ever existed, which will ever exist, and which nothing else existed but this presence, this I-ness, the real I, not a fictitious I. The fictitious I, sorry, the fictitious I can be easily identified by a feeling of separateness, a feeling of doer, feeling of something is good or bad, right or wrong. But in that I, which is real I, there is nothing as right or wrong. There is nothing as doing or not doing. There is nothing as activity or not activity. It just is as it is, without any adjectives, without any words. And that silence, that background of silence is not broken, even when there is chaos around you. Rajiv is written that it's like when cloud realizes it is itself getting illuminated by the very light of sun. It is clouding. Now it simply does what it is meant to do, provide shade and rain and vanish. Because clouds are without any, what do you call, grip. They are just floating around, right? They don't have any home. Same way with the mind. It is just like clouds, just like thoughts. They don't have any any ground. So why to have discrimination that this thought is good, this thought is bad, this thought is right, this thought is wrong. I have done a sin or I have done a great thing. Why to get entangled into all this drama which will never stop, which is the mind, right? So the easiest way is to detach yourself from the mind. The easiest way is to know that this mind will never cease to not being active, because that is the death of the mind. Nobody wants to die, so mind doesn't wants to die. So there's no point pondering over what mind is doing. Just get one step behind the mind. Okay, this mind is known, and I know I'm knowing this mind, so I'm not the mind. Then let it function. Let it work the way it wants to work. Let it do all its drama and all its play. So I hope it is clear. I hope it made some sense. I hope it shed some light. But the light cannot be shed on that which is the source of the light. Therefore, all this is just an excuse to make yourself see who you are, to make yourself know who you are, to dissolve into your knowingness itself, to dissolve into the silence, to be in the presence of your own presence, to be in the awareness of who is the aware, who is being aware of the awareness. That is the ultimate you. That is the essence of who you are. That is the essence of existence. And that existence is not two. That you and I are not two. And that's, in other word, is love. That, in other word, is peace. That, in other word, is fearlessness. That, in other words, is absence of duality. That, in other words is non-duality. Nothing more is to be said. Nothing more is to be heard. So there is only silence. There is only a fiction which is happening. Like right now, there is sunlight which is falling, and in the sunlight, there are particles, very minor particles, very small particles, which keeps on moving here and there. They were always there, but they were seen only when the light falls into it. Same way, the mind is always there, active, always active. But once you get attached to it, these activities of mind will start creating problems. And the one which is getting troubled is also the mind. So mind is troubling itself, and mind is settling it into itself. So mind is the only tool which is available to you, with you. So the only problem, only solution, and only suggestion is to hold the mind right, to handle it with care, and to thrash it when it is needed. Just like a mother handles a child, sometimes scolds the child, sometimes loves the child. Like the way a potter handles his pot by handling it and also thrashing it. So that's how the whole word operates, the love and the carrot and the stick. But in the end, both carrot and the sticks are useless because they are just a tool, and a tool is only a tool, right? Therefore, the insignificance of the tool is known only when it is known as a tool, and it has got both significance and non significance. Then it becomes a play. Then it becomes both meaningful and non meaningful at the same time. Like a play, like a game, it is both meaningful and absurd at the same time. Like a movie, it is significant what is happening. You should not miss it. Suppose it is a crime or thriller or a crime thriller. So you don't want to miss a scene, and at the same time, you are aware it is only a movie. Same way, the life is unfolding, having a lot of meaning and having totally meaningless because in that goallessness, in that ability to relax in goallessness, means there's no goal to be achieved and you're absolutely relaxed with it. Maybe that is what the realization is. Maybe that is what being what you are is. Be Maybe that is what being natural as you are, with all your shortcomings and with all your good qualities, because you are ever without any quality. So all the qualities just come, they stay for a while and vanish. So you are having both the qualities and you are qualityless, just like water and the ice. The water is shapeless, the ice is having shape, but both are one. The love is having the shape because love needs two, and the knowledge is shapeless because knowledge means I exist in my own existence, as simple as that. So both love and knowledge are one. There is no conflict. If there is a conflict, neither the love is understood nor the knowledge is gained. If the conflict is not there, both are existing peacefully as they need to exist. Because there is no conflict in the existence. All the conflicts are in ignorance, in the mind. I think we have we have spent 1 hour. So if anybody has to share something, please feel free. Otherwise, we will close this today's discussion. And I hope, I don't know, but I still pray that it made some sense. I still pray that it was useful because there's no nothing is useful or useless in that term, in that sense. But nevertheless, the play must go go on, and therefore I wish that all of you who are not two, there's no you, you realize this, that there is no you, and lie in the glory of your beingness, in your own presence, which is ever bountiful, ever full of love and joy and bliss. So thank you so much, and we connect next time. See you. All the best.